You know, if you take everything I've accomplished in my entire life and condense it down into one day, it looks decent.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of The Decent Show. Juice! I wish I could stop doing that intro. It's like burned into my head, and I think I got it burned into Victor's head because he says that about every hour. He'll just be like, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of The Decent Show."
He just says that every hour?
Oh, yeah, just about every other hour, at least. And so, yeah, I need to come up with a new intro and get that stuck in my head because the current one's stuck in my head, and
it's going to be tough for you to say
break that habit.
What the show is and then come up with a different intro for that.
Yeah, no doubt. But that's the beauty of it. I don't want to get too repetitive, because I already am. So,
agreed.
Breaking and Ryan, as always, thank you. Appreciate that.
No problem.
I don't even want to talk anymore.
All right, cool.
All right.
I'll take it from here.
All right.
Been a long time since we've done a sode.
Yes.
Last one we did was Birds of Prey.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So we saw 2 garbage movies in a row.
That was a rough time. You still seemed angry from the
I'm still
last
a little
time.
bitter on it, honestly.
Yeah. Okay,
and we watched. Well, let's get right into it. What we've been consuming lately.
Yeah. What have you been consuming lately?
Well,
consumed something together yesterday.
We did. We'll get to that in a minute. Watched Good Will Hunting.
Yes. I still have not. I've seen bits.
That's a movie I could see you falling asleep to, or actually like really liking, because it is very slow and very just. I don't know, just a lot of conversation driven. Like, there's really nothing that happens that's that ridiculous or, I guess, exciting. Like,
it's an academic movie, right?
Yeah, it's just all about like meeting your potential and like what that means or whatever. And like, I don't know. They go into a pretty good part about how someone someone who's really, really smart and they don't apply themselves, and like what a waste of humanity that would be. Like like Albert Einstein never worked his ass off, like where would we be? And then what's his name, dude? Robin Williams. Don't know why I struggle with that. Yeah, Robin Williams. He talks about, and I don't know the name of the guy, so I'm not going to try to say it, but let's say Frank, whatever. He's like, "You ever heard of him?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, "Well, he graduated at the top of his class and went to like MIT and, considered one of the smartest men in the world." And then he's like, "Well, I don't know anything about him." And then he asked another guy, "Have you ever heard of him?" He's like, "Oh, yeah." And he's like, "What's his name?" It's like Unabomber. So it's like, just because you're really smart and you try really hard, you can still be a fuck up and fuck everyone over, basically. Yeah, really good movie.
Yeah.
Really inspiring.
Yeah.
Dude, it was a good movie, though. But it is slow. But yeah, definitely. I give it mad decent, yeah.
Okay.
For sure. Especially because it's old, so it... it's not like it has special effects or anything, but you can just tell it's an old movie. And
it's late 90s?
Yeah. But I'm a sucker for Matt Damon in a Boston accent.
Love Matt Damon. Boston, yeah.
The Departed.
What's the name of the Departed?
Yes, The Departed.
Maybe.
Watched all 3 Oceans movies.
Why?
I really like them.
You've always liked them?
I've seen them before, and then they were doing a marathon on TV because of the whole Corona thing. They were just going to marathon every franchise into the ground.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched Oceans 11, 12, and 13. 12 was
12 is very
I really, really like 11 and 13.
11 and 13 were the ones I liked better. I did not really care for 12, but I didn't love it.
To me, well, what is a better heist movie,
I guess I don't like heist movies then.
Well, I like heist movies, but I don't feel like I've seen that many that are that good.
Yeah, well, it's only so much you can do, They're stealing shit.
Especially with the more advanced we get in technology, I always feel like it's, there's no way we could make it happen. Or like we always make that complaint in the Mission Impossible movies where it's like, it's impenetrable. All right, let's penetrate it.
Yeah, it's like, the only way we can penetrate it is if we turn the dial a certain way. It's like, okay, well, that's genius, I don't know. So, yeah, 11 and 13, I mean, it's obviously a great cast. I just feel like they just don't hold my attention, I guess, because, there's only so much they can do. Maybe if the movie would shorter, but then you'd have less screen time for that many actors, so it's like...
The movie's pretty short, too. It's like 2 hours flat.
All of them?
11 and 13 are.
Yeah, all right. Well,
But yeah, I like those movies a lot. I realized, I guess, because I've only seen them once, and I watched them and I'm like, wow, these are actually entertaining. I almost turned 12 off because I really didn't like it.
Yeah, 12 is not good.
No, I mean they try to do something different, I guess, because 11 and 13 are both robbing Vegas casinos.
Right.
So that's interesting, or that's the same.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's just not interesting whenever they go over there. Also, I watched
We didn't watch Ocean's 8.
I don't know what I watched Ocean's 8. I watched a short, sort of Cinema Sins-esque kind of thing on the original Ocean's 11 from 1960 whatever with, the Rat Pack in there or whatever, and it's apparently awful because
the movie's awful?
Yeah, it's very stupid. The heist is extremely simple, and it's just they turn all the power off in the city somehow, and then they just walk in and steal it because all the lights are off. They just walk in and steal everything, and they only steal like $5 or $10 million, which is a crap ton of money to me. But in all of Vegas, even in the '60s, but whatever. So I watched that. That was hilarious because of how much they point out how stupid it was and how everyone in the movie looks the exact same because that's how everyone dressed in that era, and they're entertained by a woman like holding a snake. They're all looking at a show kind of thing, and they look at it, and it's just a woman like walking around on stage with a snake over her shoulders, and they dump on that, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
So I watched a lot of Ocean stuff.
But why didn't you watch Ocean's 8? Have you seen it?
It wasn't readily available to me. I have not seen it. I need to record it or something whenever it comes on next. I can watch it.
I can't believe it's not on a streaming service. What happened to women empowerment?
I don't know, but it needs to come back. Go woke, go broke. Watched Always Be My Maybe. Heard a lot of chatter about it. It's not really my kind of movie. Keanu Reeves.
I meant to IMDb that.
Please do, because I don't know. I'm not going to get the two actors' names right, but one of them plays Asian Jim on The Office. So that really.
He's a comedian, I think.
Yeah, he's a comedian too. I've seen him in other things as minor characters. He's also in Aquaman. That's what he's in.
I can't believe how recent this movie is. Oh, there's 2 movies called Always Be My Maybe.
Oh, is there? I watched the most recent one.
Yeah,
is it Ali Wong? Is that her name?
Yeah, Ali Wong. Yeah.
Okay.
She's She's also a female comedian.
Yeah, it's basically just about it's your pretty traditional love story BS crap or whatever.
Yeah.
But I heard a lot about it, so I just finally, I went and watched it because it just seemed like a movie everyone was talking about at one point. I got super late to it. I think it came out in January or February last year.
Just to give him his credit, it's Randall Park.
Randall Park, okay.
Is the Asian Jim and second star in this movie.
Yeah, it was an alright movie. It was very trendy. Like every joke was extremely trendy. Everything was, oh yeah, I'm totally for the SJ, or no, I'm sorry, I almost said SJW. I meant like the LGBTQ plus whatever. Like they literally say that thing. I was like, oh yeah, I'm totally for that. Are we adding letters to that now? I don't know. How many letters do I need to say to be for that? They just spend way too much time on stuff like that where it's.
And see, at that point, they're almost mocking it too. So
yeah,
it's like.
Exactly. But there's some decent jokes in there when she's like gets a water. There's like a really fat chick and she gets a water for Ali Wong and she's like, I don't really want a water from your thigh gap. And she's like, thank you for calling it a gap. And it's just like, all right. And
what
was the other joke I really liked? Damn. Oh yeah, she's like, so you're gonna have a baby? And it's like, yeah, me and my girlfriend, and it's another girl, so it's lesbians or whatever. And she's like, yeah, we actually have three moms for this girl, and it's gonna be a girl as well. And then Ali Wong is like, wow, that's a lot of tampons you're gonna have to buy. And it's like, wow, that's a good joke there. But then Keanu Reeves randomly shows up as the new love interest or whatever, and he's acting like a total douche. And it's entertaining, but it's honestly the best part of the movie, and that's not a good thing. That he's just acting. He's being himself too. He's playing Keanu Reeves. They're like, oh my god, it's Keanu Reeves. Like everyone loves him, and they go to this super trendy bar restaurant thing, and they order sugar bubbles for dessert, and they eat 2 scoops of something for eating, and they make fun of how like trendy it is, but at the same time, it's just kind of annoying because of how. You know what I mean? It's just very hipster, it's in San Francisco too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's very much that kind of like I can see if you lived there, it would probably be way more entertaining. But yeah, I don't know. I was not super impressed with it.
Okay.
I did watch it, and it was a thing that happened.
Ratings are kind of mixed on it, based on IMDb, and just kind of funny, like how you said Keanu Reeves is the best part of that movie. He shouldn't be. He's just being himself. San Francisco. Very first fun fact about the movie. Keanu Reeves filmed all his scenes in 4 days between shooting John Wick Chapter 3. All of his scenes were filmed in San Francisco instead of Vancouver to accommodate his schedule.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah. So.
But yeah. So I don't know. I guess we gotta give that a ranking. To it. Low key Garbo. There you go.
You give it low key Garbo. Whoa.
That's pretty much everything I've watched.
It's not enough.
Since we watched the movie last night. That's pretty much it. What do you got for me? What have you been consuming?
Listen to this. Someone gave it I guess the meta
100?
score.
I think it 100.
Yeah.
Oh god.
This is what they said. From the glossiness of the art direction from Cheryl Marone, the Predator, to the magnetic chemistry of the cast, which also includes the always reliable Michelle Bateau as Sasha's assistant, and the mouth-watering cuisine, Always Be My Baby is a delightful, funny, and wonderfully layered romp that's smart enough to break traditional rom-com rules. Only person to give it 100. Everyone else, next highest was 88.
I don't really understand. 100?
100. 100. You're like, this movie is perfect. That's the thing. I mean, I do appreciate a critic that can give a movie 100 because, at least you enjoyed it. Because if you really get technical, no movie is perfect.
No.
So it's like...
But I just can't see where they're coming from. Where
on this movie,
is a perfect movie.
Not this movie, but I do, I guess, appreciate. I mean, at some point, you can't just give everything a 90 or less.
Yeah,
but
I agree. Yeah, I mean, this movie could be that person's "I Love You, Man." So there you go.
Right. Yeah. So
or Anchorman, or any movie with the word "man" in the title.
Man,
those are great movies.
I prefer gender neutral movies.
Wonder Woman, terrible. It's got the word "woman" in the title.
It's gonna be our last episode.
Yeah, we're retiring.
Stay woke.
Go broke.
Yeah, the next Wonder Woman, I'll be honest, I don't care.
Dude, I picked that as the best movie this year.
Why? Do you regret that already?
No, I don't. I feel like it's going to be a really good movie. For me.
I hope.
I like superhero movies.
Is it coming out 2020, supposedly?
Still 2020, yeah. They're just going to
Did they intend on releasing it in the summer?
Yeah, it was always going to be June.
So now Corona might...
June moon.
Nice.
They've talked about releasing it on streaming and the theaters day and date. Because even in June, probably people won't be like flocking out to the theaters again.
Wow.
If the theaters are even open in June. I think they're probably just waiting on what the clarity is of
what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, if everything's back to normal in July or whatever, they'll just delay it to July and come out with a movie in July. But yeah, Fast and Furious got delayed a year.
Why? Fast 9?
Yeah.
From
April to April.
Because?
Because of the coronavirus. They just went out and said, yeah, we're not coming out this year.
Yeah, that's fine.
Which is crazy.
No,
yeah, you don't care. Yeah, you're like,
sucks.
great. I don't have to see it.
Good, yeah. Like I get a year to maybe hopefully miss the franchise, even though I don't at all. Especially since they're showing it on TNT every other weekend.
And we had to watch Hobbs and Shaw last week. So
oh God,
that was that too. Black Widow got delayed, huh?
Who watched Hobbs and Shaw?
I said last week. I meant last year.
Right.
No,
okay.
Sorry. It felt like last week. I feel like I'm still just coming out of that movie.
Still dealing with it. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
We gave it the most decent movie of the year. Maybe you regret it? I don't know.
Yeah.
What have you been consuming?
A lot. I'm going to try to do this speed round as quick as possible.
Let's do it.
Has so much. All right, so we'll start at the top here.
Jeez. It's a huge list.
It's a massive list. This thing gets larger every day.
Quarantine.
You see all this?
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
That you're going to go through that.
No, I'm only going to go through part of it. It's like the middle part here. So anyway, watch Mississippi Grind with Ryan Reynolds. It's a gambling movie. Mad decent, typical gambling movie. His charm is what makes it mad decent.
Let's do it.
Next movie, awesome. Deja Vu, Denzel Washington. Really crazy plot, kind of an beginning. Like all the characters are just super shady, and it's not kind of annoying. And I was like, when's this movie really going to get off the ground? And then finally, like, it gets pretty good. And the ending is a little confusing to where it's kind of like, what are the rules of this movie? It's a sci-fi movie in a way, so it's like some of the rules of nature, I guess, laws of nature, whatever, physics, aren't super clear, so it's kind of like But overall, I gave it a Matt decent as well. Watched Fargo, which is based on a true story starring William H.
Always wanted to see that.
Great movie. I'd highly recommend it.
Really?
Only an hour and a half too, so it's quick.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Honestly, we could put it in the background when we're playing games. Anyway, starring William H. Macy and a few other people. And William H. Macy, like the female cop in the movie, are both like phenomenal. I think she either won an Oscar or was nominated for her role. I can't think of her name. Anyway, based on a true story, and the story is wild. Like the whole movie is just insane. And so the fact that it actually happened makes it even better to me. And it's also actually pretty funny because it takes place in Fargo, North Dakota, but it also like takes place in Minnesota as well, and like the areas in between those two cities, and they talk super funny. It's hilarious. They literally everything is like, oh yeah, oh geez, triple homicide, oh geez, you know, no, it's real freezing out here, Norm. You know, they just I don't know, it's hilarious. Watch Two Guns on TV.
Let's go.
Just have some thoughts about that movie. It's not I can admit that is not the best movie, but I absolutely love it. It has everything. I'm entertained the entire movie.
It's got Denzel. It's got Mark.
Denzel. Women. Paula Patton looks great. Great action, comedy. Pretty decent story, honestly. It's really not the worst story considering it's an action comedy. Yeah. So I just really like that movie. But I'll still give it a mad decent because I know it's not perfect, but maybe Fuego for me. I don't know. It's hard to. It's floating in there. Watch Lost in Translation. The character development is the only thing that happens in that movie. The rest of it is super slow and boring, even though it's not that long of a movie. But because I guess the character development, I give it low-key Garbo instead of Garbaggio.
I'll cut it some slack.
Yeah,
low-key Garbo.
We Own the Night with Marky Mark and Joaquin Phoenix. It's a pretty good movie overall. It's kind of interesting, but it's a little cheesy. But since the actors are good, because there's another actor in there that's good. I can't think of his name, but he plays their dad. Anyway, I'd say it's anywhere between decent to mad decent. The only reason why I say that is because I don't like it. Oh, I gave Fargo a Fuego. I don't know if I said that.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
So Fargo got a Fuego. Two Guns, mad decent. I don't like it better than Two Guns or Deja Vu.
But it's just a better movie.
But it's it's better than decent.
Yeah.
So I just don't like it better than some of the things I've given mad decent so far. Another movie was A Most Violent Year starring Oscar Isaac, who is from Star Wars and all that. I gave it a decent just because it's slow, decent tension, decent story. Oscar Isaac is actually pretty solid as the lead because he just doesn't feel like a strong lead, but he really didn't do a bad job. But because the movie's kind of slow, I just gave it a decent. Triple Frontier, Oscar with Oscar Isaac and Ben Affleck and a couple other guys. Pretty basic movie, but the actors are likable, some action, so I just gave it a decent. Right. It's a Netflix movie.
Wow. That's above and beyond for a Netflix movie.
Yeah, pretty much. So they get a decent there. I think that's the best that they can do. The best they'll probably ever have is Mad Decent, but right now, I don't think I've ever seen a Netflix movie that's better than decent. Most of them are low-key Garbo.
Bird Box.
Oh, yeah, Bird Box. People liked that, yeah.
I like that movie. That might be it.
MGK's in that movie, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of surprising to me how many movies he's already been in such a short time, considering he's not really an actor, and I don't know how solid he was in Bird Box, but I just watched a movie of his last night on Netflix, and his acting was
Yeah, his acting isn't great in that movie either, and he has only maybe one scene, and he basically just plays himself like a douchebag. So,
okay.
I mean, it's not like he's going for this Oscar-worthy performance over here.
I know he's not, but it's just I find it interesting that some of these guys get into movies, and it's like Mark Wahlberg got into movies, and he was and he was Marky Mark, but yeah, he went all in on the movies, and I feel like that was the right move. I feel like he's a way better actor than he is music creator. But I don't feel that way for like MGK, Post Malone. Some of these guys like popping in movies, it's like,
why?
Yeah, it's like your music. Yeah, Common though, he's old. Like when they get old, they mature, and if they want to act, then they'll do it.
Except for Ice Cube.
Ice Cube, LL Cool J, Ice-T, all of them. They're all decent. I'm not saying they're amazing actors, but they found their niche. I mean, like they found a spot.
That's true. I forgot Ice Cube was in 21 and 22 Jump Street.
Yeah,
pretty good in that movie.
Yeah, and even if his movies suck, he's been in big budget Hollywood movies that people went to see.
True.
Ride-alongs, all that stuff.
True.
So anyway, and Are We There Yet? Are We Home Yet? Or whatever it's called. Yeah. He did 2 of those.
Is it bad yet?
Right, it was bad.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But, I went and saw it in theaters. I remember seeing it in theaters.
Really? I
Yeah.
remember watching it on TV a lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
Because it was on TV
He got
all
paid.
the time.
He got paid.
It's like, this movie isn't good. Why do I keep watching it?
Ice Cube.
It's like, I hate myself.
Yeah. So next movie on the list was Locke. This is Tom Hardy on the phone driving from one part of Europe to another part, and he just has like this whole life disaster like coming down. He's got like problems at home. He's got problems with like his wife and another woman and his job, and like he's having to handle everything at once while driving in a car to basically see. I don't want to spoil too much of the movie because it's like an hour and 20 minutes. It's pretty quick because the entire movie takes place of him driving his car. So I give it a mad decent for the fact that it held my attention. It was interesting. Pretty good character development considering he's only talking to people on the phone and he's only in his car.
For 80 minutes.
For 80 minutes, yeah.
Wow,
So like
that
the
is-
fact that they were able to make that work, I give it mad decent, but I also wouldn't give it a fuego because it's like it is kind of slow considering how short the movie is. And, there's only just so much you can do with a guy driving his car and talking to people on the phone.
Well, I mean, some people can't develop their characters at all in multiple movies in a franchise. So that's
Right.
impressive.
It was, it's very impressive. He did really well in the movie. And, like, the people he's talking to on the phone, like, it just felt real. So, like, that's pretty good voice acting on their part to, like, basically show emotion and develop themselves without even being on the screen or really getting to do anything. So yeah, that was pretty impressive. It was a pretty decent movie. I gave it decent, between decent and mad decent. Just again, I'm never gonna watch it again, but like it was a quick watch. Fighting with My Family, The Rock's minor part was probably my favorite part. It's it's hilarious. He's got like 2 or 3 minor parts in the movie that are really funny. I actually like the entire cast, like the kid actors that they have, the parents. Like everybody just looks annoying. And like in the preview, I'm like, man, I don't like anybody in this movie besides The Rock.
Yeah.
But once I watched it, I actually did like everybody and thought it was actually pretty well casted for the most part.
This is the best Rock movie you've seen in the last 2-3 years.
Easily. Okay. That's only because he's been putting out garbage.
Yeah.
And actually, he's buried.
All right. No further questions, Your Honor.
It's the best movie. If that's the thing, though, if you're getting technical, it's the best movie he's been in the last couple of years. Because to me, it's better than Hobbs and Shaw, Rampage, Jumanji's. Actually, no. There's probably some people that would say Jumanji is better than these movies, than Fighting with My Family, but I don't think so. That's just my opinion. But also, like, he's the lead in all of those movies. He is definitely not the lead in this movie.
Yeah.
The chick who played the movie's about a wrestler named Paige. Her and her brother and like Vince Vaughn are the leads in this movie. Really, and it's mostly her and Vince. And there's probably at least 10 other characters that have more screen time than The Rock. So yeah, it's really not his movie, but again, it's a movie that he's pretty heavily involved in. So yeah, it's technically the best movie he's done in a while. So anyway, no, it's good cast. Vince Vaughn was like definitely different than you're used to him being. Like he still was Vince Vaughn, but it wasn't as like heavy. It wasn't as like he was definitely.
We're going over there. What do you want to talk about my face? We're going to talk about this guy in the chair. There's a rain dance going on. And we worked for Google that one time. Remember that?
Exactly. Yeah, it wasn't that. So that was refreshing. He was definitely more serious, but still being, I guess, true to himself. And then there were some cheesy parts, a lot of parts where they're trying to make you cry. So, like, it kind of, it's not, like, necessarily the most fun thing to watch. Like, they're going to have some parts.
Dude, come over and chill. We're going to watch Fighting with My Family.
Right. No, it's good, though. It's a good movie. I gave it mad decent. I would say, out of all the movies I've listed so far, it and Fargo have been the best two out of everything so far. And then I watched Justice League Flashpoint Paradox. I fell asleep halfway through. Didn't miss much. But it's a really cool story, and I'm going to combine Justice League Flashpoint Paradox along with the Reign of Superman movie because I watched both of those recently.
Okay.
And, like, I'll acknowledge that they're both pretty decent stories. And, like, obviously the fighting and the characters, everything's cool. It's just, like, all of those movies have a really hard time holding my attention because I kind of already know. You already know what's going to happen. Like, it's obviously there are finer details that you could pay attention to, but at the end of the day, like,
what do you think about the Batman in the Flashpoint movie?
They're gonna beat the.
That to me was like one of the most
Thomas Wayne.
Parts. Yeah,
No, that was that was interesting. That's something that definitely like holds your attention when they're not fighting. But a lot of those movies, and even Wreck-It Ralph too, they just like, if I already kind of know what's going to happen and it's like a simpler plot, it really has a hard time holding my attention and I'll get like distracted. Which also makes me mad because I don't necessarily want to get distracted because then I'm like, oh, as soon as I start doing something else, I miss something.
What happened? What just happened?
Yeah, something will finally happen. But there was like 5 minutes that I was watching where nothing's happening. So anyway, I like those movies though. That I don't know. They have a hard time holding my attention. So I just give them both decents. I mean, the Flashpoint Paradox is better just because the story is definitely super interesting. Yeah. But the Reign of Superman one I thought was actually kind of interesting. It's just, I honestly kind of hate how Superman just came back. You know, it's just, I don't know.
It's lame.
It's very underwhelming. Yeah, it's very lame. I kind of liked the world they were in without him. Yeah, it was very interesting having the 4 Supermans and like how they came to be. Like obviously one of them being created by Lex Luthor, one of them being like a friend of the original Superman and like making his own Iron Man type suit, and one being like the evil cyborg. Like I don't know. I just kind of liked all of that, and then when Superman just came back and like it was kind of whatever.
Yeah, what does it matter?
Yeah. Getting close to the end here. Blade Runner 1982, the original. Man. We've talked about some of this last night. The Blade Runner series.
Really want to watch it.
Yeah, you need to, but not with me. I can't do it. I mean, I'll have to be playing a video game, dude. There's no way I can.
Maybe we will, honestly, because then like I can watch it and you can be playing 2K or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we both win.
Yeah, definitely. We can do that. Because that's what I did whenever Victor and I watched it. And I was like playing Far Cry while we were watching it. And I was bored to tears. And he wasn't playing anything.
He was just watching it?
He was just on the couch just like this.
Was he staring? Was he watching it or was he just like zoning out?
No. He like, I'm sorry. I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
I pretend, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like he's looking at the TV. Like he's watching it almost to me in disbelief.
It's hard for me to imagine Victor that focused on anything because I feel like I have the shortest shot clock in the world to get what I need to say out before he changes subjects randomly.
Yeah.
So that's insane that he was that focused on it. So did he enjoy it?
No.
Whoa, wow.
No, he was bored. It's a boring. Like he's looking at it in disbelief, as in he can't believe how boring it is.
And you were bored too.
Yeah, and I was bored for him. I was like, dude, man, I feel bad. At least I have Far Cry. Like he's like literally sitting there watching this, so I felt bad. It was a really cool world. Like especially considering how old the movie is. Like obviously 2049, second Blade Runner, like. Super cool world and everything. We hadn't seen the original. So the original's the same way. Like really interesting place that they've created. It feels real. Like it definitely like takes you there. And it's very interesting. The plot is interesting. The world's well designed. All of that is cool. But like the movie is just so slow. Like to me, nothing happens. Like when it does, it's not the greatest thing ever. And it's pretty quick. Like it happens and then it's back to being slow and boring. So it's like... I don't know, dude. I gave it decent to low-key Garbo.
Okay. Sounds like you give it low-key Garbo, honestly. Like,
well, it's literally the world. It's like.
What about Harrison Ford? Is he gonna get in there?
Yeah, it's whatever.
He's whatever.
Yeah. At one point in the movie, I was like, "Where's Harrison Ford?" I was like, "I feel like the movie's happening without him right now." It definitely felt like there was a good chunk where he just wasn't there. I don't know. Watched Rain Man. I've obviously heard so much about the movie. My parents have referenced it. I've seen bits and pieces on TV, but I've never really sat down and watched it. Fantastic movie.
What is it about?
Tom Cruise finds out he has a retarded brother, Dustin Hoffman. I used the I would, but Dustin Hoffman is R-worded, and Tom Cruise like just now finds this out, and I guess he either has to take care of him or he feels obligated to. I can't exactly remember, but either way, like they have to start spending some time together, and I guess Tom Cruise is taking him. I guess I didn't even pay that much attention, I guess. So, like...
You're really struggling with it. You sure you watched this movie?
Yeah, I forget. I'm just going to look it up on IMDb. But basically, like, they're on the road together, and this guy is, like, used to living in a special home where he does the same thing every day. And so, like, Tom Cruise is kind of an asshole, and he has a really hard time adjusting to Dustin Hoffman and, like, trying to talk to him and trying to get him to do stuff. And
they basically just go on... trip together.
Selfish yuppie Charlie Babbitt's father left a fortune to his savant brother Raymond, and a pittance to Charlie. They travel cross country. So I guess so I guess Dustin Hoffman got the fortune, and Tom Cruise is mad about that because he's not R-worded and he wants them, and I think he needs the money. His business is struggling. So anyway, through their journeys together, he finds out that Dustin Hoffman is just like this mathematical genius, but like he's not perfect. So it's really weird. Like he can do any like multiplication problem, and he can like a bunch of toothpicks fell on the floor, and he was like, "That's 296 toothpicks on the floor." And the lady goes, "Well, it is a box of 300." And she looks in the box and goes, "Yeah, there's only 4 left in the box." So he like knew how many toothpicks, like, so he like knew stuff like that. But then like a doctor asked him like other questions that were simpler but like had trickier wording, and he couldn't get them. So it was like really weird. Like I can't explain it better, but basically he's like a genius, but he obviously wasn't perfect. He could get thrown off relatively easily, and so like Tom Cruise starts experimenting with it and basically teaches him blackjack, and they get like super rich off blackjack, and I think Dustin Hoffman like predicted a number on roulette, and Tom Cruise bet like $10,000 on a number, and Dustin Hoffman was wrong, and so he was like pissed at him for that, and so but basically like they work it out. Basically they like build a relationship, and Tom Cruise becomes a better person, and it all works out basically.
So phenomenal movie.
It really is. I mean, the acting, like their chemistry together, and like to me it's hilarious. But in Tropic Thunder, like Robert Downey Jr. has a bit where he's like making fun of Ben Stiller for going full retard. He's like, "You never go full retard." Like Dustin Hoffman, Raymond, you never go full retard. Like it is amazing how like Dustin Hoffman like didn't go full retard. Like he played, I don't know. It's like he played it so well. Like I don't know how. I mean, I don't know how the special needs community feels about Rain Man these days.
On it,
but to me, like considering how old the movie is very tasteful for me. I don't know. I thought it was really well done. Great acting, great character development. Little favorite stuff. Give it a mad decent.
Not even a fuego after all that.
Nah, I mean I don't love it that much. I'm never gonna watch it again probably. So.
All right.
Disaster Artist with James and Dave Franco about The Room. Have you seen this?
No.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought both the Francos were really good in the movie. It's really interesting just seeing how they made this movie, how it all came to be, how this guy came to be, and how interesting he is as a person. Like he basically just had infinite money and no one's ever heard of him. And like no one knows how he got his money. He won't say. Like there's just no like he's a very interesting character, and it's a movie about a terrible movie, and it's like it's a good movie, but obviously The Room is not a good movie. Is it a
documentary or is it like a biopic?
It's a biopic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a biopic. It's really good. Yeah, I liked it. I give it a mad decent as well. Because there are some parts that are kind of slow. It's not like perfect, but it's.
They have a party in there where they hallucinated with some drugs or something. They get super drunk or something.
Not really.
And Seth Rogen was in this movie. Was Seth Rogen in this movie?
If he was, very briefly.
Okay, well, that's weird. All right.
Yeah, no, there's nothing like that. It's not like
sausage party. Or
it's not their typical humor. Okay. Like it's definitely like the humor comes from like Dave Franco just character being there. James Franco. He's playing the guy that made The Room. Mm-hmm. His character being like super weird and like interesting. Yeah, like being super awkward. Like it's definitely not like their typical like weed and dick humor. Like it's definitely like more situational.
So what would you give it?
I gave it mad decent.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's definitely really good. Let's see. I was looking it up. I was looking to see if Seth Rogen is in it, and he's the 4th listed actor, but it's not very
much if he's in it.
Yeah, like to me, I didn't even remember him being in the movie, so he definitely doesn't ruin it. Like if so.
No, I was just making fun of how they always have the same like 2 or 3 scenes in every movie they do. Yeah, no, there's none of that. Then I watched another biopic called The End of the Tour, with Jason Segel and Jesse Eisenberg, about Robert Frost. God, what's his name? Never even heard of this movie.
It's good. It's on Netflix, I think.
But it's not a Netflix original. It's older.
Yeah, no, it went to theaters. Came out in 2015. Story of a 5-day interview between Rolling Stone reporter David Lipsky and novelist David Foster Wallace. I always forget that. David Foster Wallace. So basically, Jason Segel is the author. David Foster Wallace is like this super interesting guy, basically, who wrote like this 1,000-page novel in 1996. And it's just like basically a super acclaimed book, apparently. And the reporter did a Rolling Stone interview like with him on the end of his book tour, and they were together for like 5 days. And so it just covers like those 5 days basically. And it's all character development talking, but I don't know. It was interesting.
What made you want to watch that? That sounds, no offense, that sounds kind of boring.
Because I like Jason Segel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like both those guys. I just wanted to see what it was about. And honestly, based on the way Segel looks in like the thing, I honestly thought it was about like a rock star, like somebody a little bit more interesting than an author. I didn't realize it was about an author until I started watching it. But it was interesting, and the author was interesting. So yeah, it was all acting and character development. I'm not gonna act like it was a super like fast-paced movie, but I don't know. I just watched it in the middle of the day, and it just held my attention. I don't know. I'm weird like that, I guess. Then another movie I watched, it was an Oscar candidate a couple years ago called Hell or High Water with Chris Pine, Ben Foster, Jeff Bridges, a couple other guys, and really interesting premise. It's a pretty good like bank robbing movie that has like pretty good story, and like motivation's interesting, and again, just the whole premise is really cool. The way they execute it, the acting, kept my attention the whole time. Jeff Bridges was really pretty funny, and the relationship between Chris Pine and Ben Foster's brothers was good. And it technically takes place in like Texas and Oklahoma, but I looked it up and all the filming was in New Mexico. But like the sheriffs are like based sheriffs are based out of Lubbock, and they like go through some of the towns I used to have to drive through to get to West Texas. So it was kind of cool, but yeah, I don't know, just really interesting movie, super intense, because like they're bank robbing and they don't plan on like killing anybody, and people get killed, and you know, it's pretty wild shit. So I'd give that a mad decent to Fuego, because I just have such a hard time giving it a Fuego because like I'm probably not going to watch it again, and it was a little slow.
I mean, do what you gotta do.
But it's like a higher of the mad decents. Like it's up there with the other movies I mentioned.
The real mad decent.
Real mad decent, yeah. Almost done. Sorry. I watched 30 minutes or less with.
Watched so many movies.
I know. I watched 30 minutes or less with Jesse Eisenberg and Aziz and Danny McBride and Nick Swardson. Super quick, to the point, funny. Rocco from Naked Gun 3 was in it. He was the dad of Danny McBride. Rocco, literally the main guy.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, in prison with him. Leslie Nielsen. Anyway, he was the dad of Danny McBride. That was pretty funny. Michael Pena was in it too. So yeah, I don't know. It was just funny, but like, I didn't want to watch it, and I wasn't like just loving it the whole time I was watching it. I don't know why. I really don't. Maybe because I don't like Danny McBride that much.
Ally McBeal or the people who work in Saturn?
Yeah. You just wanted to say.
Yeah, I really just wanted to say that.
I don't know. Anyway, I just give it a decent because I just didn't.
Who forced you to watch that?
Me, I just watched it.
But you weren't enjoying it, but you're like, I'm just gonna finish it.
It's short. It's like an hour and 25 or something. I'm trying to get all the content I can.
Dude, you're consuming a lot.
A lot. Watched Wreck-It Ralph 2 with you. I thought that's another one where I thought the world was super interesting, but it had a hard time keeping my attention in terms of like the movie.
Yeah.
Like the video game parts and like all of that stuff was cool, but kind of like parts in the beginning and parts in the before the end, you know, where they're like basically talking about friendship and this and that, where they're like trying to teach kids, you know, a lesson or a message. I just get kind of bored of that.
I think the first one, which we didn't watch, I feel like the first one was, maybe it's not because I haven't watched it in so long, so like my opinions have changed. But I feel like the first one was like really good. I remember really liking the first one. And the message of the first one is he's a villain, and he doesn't want to be a villain anymore. Like he's tired of doing it every single day, being the most hated person.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to a meeting with all the villains, and they sit in a room where they have like Satan there and all these other people from other games, and they're like, "Dude, is there something else to this? Like, why does this suck so much?" Basically, and it's I guess it's a way more original and fun kind of lesson or moral of the story,
right?
Because he finds a way to do some good things, and he can still be the villain over there, and still like they can enjoy his company and stuff like that, and like it's not as much like this is about friendship, and it was a cool world there because they weren't in the internet, but they were jumping through all these different video games basically to find out where he wanted to be. And I don't know, maybe I need to watch it again, and maybe I just overhyped it, but I was kind of disappointed in Wreck-It Ralph, honestly. Because the world was really interesting, and that was pretty much it to me, honestly. The story wasn't really that interesting. It was just sort of cool to see all the different games and social media and eBay and their interpretations of it. And the best part of the movie to me was literally when they went to the Disney part, and they just put everything Disney all at once and just sort of like made fun of themselves.
Yeah.
And they were talking to Groot, and there was a animated version of what's his name? Stanley.
Oh, Stanley, yeah.
Stanley. Oh, Sonic was there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we should probably get into it. Yeah, dude, they did a better job with Sonic in this movie in 5 seconds than the entire movie. I understand it's not the same or whatever, but I just feel like the voice is better. I just feel like the look is better. I don't understand why it was that hard.
I don't either.
And why it needed to be live action either. Because
it did not.
I feel like this it's animated or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's definitely animated, but it's like CG-ish. Like it's not flat.
Right.
And it looks it's super interesting to watch. It's cool to see how everything is interpreted, and they make things look really cool, I guess, whenever they show things, what they look like. The stormtroopers look it's cool to see them animated like that, I guess.
Yeah.
So why not just make the whole movie like that? And why not get that voice actor? I don't understand that either. He's probably cheaper than the
guy they got.
Because the guy they got is a somewhat known actor.
Yeah.
I don't think the guy that voices Sonic for 2 seconds in this movie is
the greatest. Yeah, probably not. Or he is. Either way, they should have got him.
Yeah,
because it was pretty ridiculous.
Let's see what else. I took some notes on it. The advertising on Wreck-It Ralph. The advertising was really funny. Really enjoyed how they guys were like in their face about it. Like, hey, click on this real quick. Yeah, it's trending. Oh, it's top 5 celebrities right here. What kind of deli sandwich are you?
Yeah, I did like that.
That was really funny because that's exactly.
I love the pop-up blocker that just like beat the crap out of the pop-up.
Damn pop-up blockers. They beat the crap out of the guy.
Yeah.
A lot of trendy cat jokes in there. I both enjoyed that and got tired of that really quick.
No doubt,
dude. Oh, that was insane. Is that they were guessing numbers for the I guess no, they were guessing numbers. No, they were betting on the steering wheel or whatever. And it's like 7, 11, and then like right after that they said like no doubt. They said like all the things you love like 7, 11, no doubt, all over the place.
I know, gotta love it.
They had to throw stupid flossing in there. Can't stand that.
Yeah,
had to reference Fortnite directly.
Yep.
Hated that.
No particular reason.
I don't know. It's just annoying. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
But
everyone else is like, what?
Fortnite, that's a game that we play.
That's the content I consume.
Yeah. It was also kind of weird that Ralph causes all the problems of the movie.
Yeah.
And they never really addressed that in any sort of way.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, they kind of addressed it,
but
it's not really. I mean, but it's not really like. Dude, we're never hanging out again because all you do is literally destroy everything.
Right.
The internet, everything. So, that was interesting. I guess I kind of liked the part where they just went like their separate ways. And, it didn't have to end with them being like together anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was like honestly the only part of the movie that wasn't very cookie cutter. This is a kid's movie sort of thing.
Oh, them being like separate but together kind of thing?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Didn't like the song part. I really don't like songs in almost any movie.
Yeah, I don't either. I can't
numbers.
stand it.
Don't like it.
Definitely
zoned out hard at that part.
Yeah. I actually forgot they had it.
Yeah, I think we were both scrolling through our phones pretty hard at that point.
Yeah. It was hot.
What else on this movie?
Do you have any thoughts on the Disney princess T-shirt party or them saving the day at the end? Anything sexist to say?
I mean,
or positive, gender neutral?
I mean, where the fuck should I really even start? Man, what was I actually gonna say?
I don't know. You said it all.
I mean, that was like cool.
I actually enjoyed it.
It was cool to see them.
Everything about it was cool. It was just a little forced. I liked it all, but it was forced. It felt a little.
It was a little too much. I think.
Right.
Just a little too much screen time. I think after they changed into the casual clothing, they should have just been like, "Wow, this is way much better. Like, this is way better. Why would I ever wear a dress again?" It's
right.
Like, hey, you're right. And then they just leave. Just leave there. They stayed like another 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
For some reason. And then at the very end, they did the most elaborate thing I've ever seen in order to save someone's life.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that at all. They
gotta be fabulous.
And used hair and all this. I don't know. But
it's super minor, but I don't even know. I don't even know what chick did it because I don't know my princesses that well. It looked like a newer princess. Maybe it was. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, maybe it's the one from Tangled. If that's a Disney princess. She like had her hair in such a way where she like made her hair into a beanbag chair and she was like lounging on her hair.
Did you enjoy that? Or?
Yeah, I was like, that looks super cool. Like, I don't know, it just made the Disney princess like she was like using her hair as a power in a way, but like to sit. Like I don't know. I just thought it was like again super minor, but I was like, oh, that's cool.
So what would you give it?
I thought I already gave it a. I'm gonna give it decent.
I'm gonna give it decent too.
Yeah, I give it decent.
I like Toy Story more, honestly.
Yes, actually, this is very decent. Like this is about as decent as it gets.
Really.
Yeah.
So this could be the decent winner.
Could be decent of the year movie. Yeah.
All right.
But even though it should have been on last year's awards, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, technically it came out last year.
I don't throw as an honor. But actually, is it more decent than Hobbs and Shaw? You just said Hobbs and Shaw was the most decent movie of the year.
This movie's way better than Hobbs and Shaw. Yeah, I stand by it.
All right, so we had a quick commercial break there. We were back, and we were talking about like decent movies. We were finishing up Wreck-It Ralph 2, and we both kind of said it was decent, but you're saying it's more decent than Hobbs and Shaw. You think it's better.
Yeah, it's a way better movie, in my opinion. Is it not in your opinion?
But they're both decent.
Yeah, they're both decent. It's confusing.
So that means, but Wreck-It Ralph 2 could not win most decent movie of the year because it's too decent?
Yeah, it's too good. It's too good to get it out of the decent category.
Okay.
It's not average enough. I need the most average movie. You can be 3 things. You can be amazing, you can be crap, or you can be average.
That's right. That's what I was trying to explain to Victor. He was like, yeah, so decent's like, he was explaining the ranking system to somebody else. And he's like, decent's like a B. And I was like, no, decent's like a C. It was a C. And I go, yeah, it's the middle.
Barely passing.
It's the middle of passing. Yeah, it's like very, very middle. Yeah, so you're right. Yeah, Wreck-It Ralph.
Who's he explaining it to?
People that he like plays Apex with or works with, like trying to get him on the decent show. And he's hooked on saying everything's decent, so he's got the mentality.
Excellent. He really says to you, he's like, "Good evening."
Both of y'all have told me stories where you're like, "Yeah, dude, I'm at like work now," and everybody will be like raving about something, and I'll just be like, "Yeah, no, it's decent," or because you've been doing the one where you're like, "Yeah, no, it's definitely a movie. No, we can agree on that." You know, it exists, and so he's been doing it's decent, and they're like, it's just decent. He goes, yeah, it's average, like decent.
Dude, like, I don't know. I couldn't stand to have someone be like, no, dude, Torchy's Tacos is the best.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing.
No, it's not the best. It's not at all. They're like, well, like it is though. It's great. It's fantastic. The tacos are great. Everything's great. And I'm like, well, all right, okay, let's back it up. It's definitely food, all right? I'll give you that. It's food for sure. Like, I would never take this away from it. It's food.
Yeah.
And they just go, yeah, it's great. Yeah, all right. Like, they don't even realize I'm calling it literally just food. I'm not saying it's good.
It's all wording, dude. I think maybe they're too
I think it's
positive.
all tone.
Yes, you're right. That's what I meant. It's all tone. I think they're too positive and we're too realistic or negative. Because, I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's better than most places. I get pretty excited to go to Torchy's. But I do hate the people that are like, oh, God, Torchy's.
It's the most phenomenal. And we were talking about this today, how, like, Chick-fil-A is...
Same way.
I said I was overrated.
Honestly,
people
it was delicious.
Literally flipped. Yeah, dude, it's delicious.
When
the
we
food's
had
fantastic.
Tonight, it was perfect. I loved it.
Yeah, dude, there's nothing you can ever say about it. It's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Like, it's great. But, dude, lines out the door. 500 million people go in there a day all the time, and they pass by every other restaurant, and I don't get it. It's not that good.
It's not. It's a little overpriced. Not the greatest, but anyway, we're getting off track. But yeah, you guys have both been hooked on just bringing people down a peg, letting them know that not everything is the greatest thing ever. You know,
It's addicting, dude. I see how excited people get about things, and I just want to ruin it for them.
Like, yeah, yeah, no, it's decent. So the last movie of the content I've been consuming was The Dirt. I literally watched half of it like 2 days ago, and I finished it last night or something. And Netflix movie. It's got Machine Gun Kelly in it and a few other people. Nobody like household name really. Nothing. Nobody too huge. And it's based on Motley Crue, and honestly, it was crazy. Like, it's based on a true story, but this is another movie, not like It's like Bohemian Rhapsody, but like way worse at storytelling. But it had like the same idea. It covered how they formed the band, first couple of gigs, first couple studio sessions, making like that first hit, and then like first big tour, and then like obviously crazy partying, and then like the spiral down. Like both those movies do that, but Bohemian Rhapsody just does it way better.
Way better.
Just way better.
I need to see it.
Yeah, way better storytelling, way better character development. We love those things. They just do it all better. In The Dirt, they kind of rush over it, and at certain parts in the movie, they'll like explain something to you, and then one of the band members will like look at the camera this is on The Dirt, and go like blah blah blah, or like literally that verbatim was a quote, and then other scenes where they do something similar, like, and you know the rest or something, and it's just like, that's how bad your storytelling is. That you're blah blahing your own story.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's not, it doesn't make it funny. Like, it kind of just points out that your story sucks.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's totally serviceable in a better movie, but when the movie isn't really that good and they do something like that, it just pisses you off even more.
Yeah, because I think they do it in Wolf. Like, in Wolf, they do it where he's like trying to explain stock to you, and he goes, and you're not going to get this shit, or yada yada yada. And that's more tolerable. I mean, I'm not saying I love it, because I kind of wish I did understand the stocks better and how everything went down in that movie. But in this movie, yeah, it was like, you're pointing out your story sucks by doing that. So that was rough. And then MGK at times was okay, but because it was the main reason I watched this movie.
Really?
Yeah, because I've been listening to more of his music lately. That's what I've been meaning to tell you.
Traitor.
Yeah. Oh, you're mad now?
Yeah, Traitor.
Why?
Real.
I can't listen to both of them?
No, you can't.
Well, I do it every day.
One's the rap god, one's the rap devil.
I know, and I listen to both every day. Not Rap Devil, though. I don't like that song. I've been listening to
it's garbage.
I know it is. I don't like that song. I don't listen to that song.
Oh.
Just calm yourself. I'm listening to like his newer stuff, some of his older stuff before the Eminem beef. Mostly some of the newer stuff. He wants to come out with like a pop punk album, and I like some of the singles he's come out with so far. The disgust on your face is...
I don't know, man. Like, why are we even doing this show anymore? Like, really? You listen to MGK?
Yeah, just casually. I mean, what is the big deal? It's content to be consumed. But anyway, so I wanted to see the movie, and his acting, there's a lot of times where I felt very aware I was watching him. Like, it just didn't feel like the character that he was playing. He was playing like Tommy Lee Jones, or not Tommy Lee Jones, but Tommy Lee the drummer. I
was like, dude, I need to watch this movie. MGK is playing Tommy Lee Jones in a movie,
and he's a drummer.
Dude, I'm down.
But this movie mainly covers a lot of this, Nikki Sixx, who's the bass player of Motley Crue.
Slaps the bass.
Yeah, he slaps the bass. Normally the most boring position, but he's the craziest one in the band. He does all the craziest stuff, has the craziest backstory, and towards the end of the movie, he's addicted to heroin, and it shows way too much of him doing heroin.
Really?
Like, it's very unsettling. I could not get on board with that. I honestly, I turned away. Like, I turned away every time. I mean, at one point he did it in his neck. He's doing it in his thigh, his arm. Like, it was just way too much.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. And MGK, like, his character bangs Heather Locklear. He's like married to Heather Locklear and then cheats on her. and she leaves him. He plays Tommy Lee. That's just the guy's name. Yeah, Tommy Lee, the drummer. I'm pretty sure they make fun of him a ton in Family Guy.
Motley Crue did heroin through a fire hose.
Yeah, that's Nick Swartzen. That's another one. He's like, yeah.
Can we just turn off the cameras, dude?
With like Nick Swartzen, he's like, Nick Swartzen's like, I come home. He's like, I've had 20 beers. I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm so tough. I've had like 20 beers. And he's like, then I turn on Behind the Music with Motley Crue, and they're like, Nikki Sixx drank heroin from a fire hose. Yeah, I'm a huge pussy.
So was it a good movie, or was it
overall, like, because it was so crazy, like, the shit that happens with the lead singer is wild. Nikki Sixx, the bass player, being addicted to heroin's crazy. I mainly watched the movie for Machine Gun Kelly, so when he was on screen, I was normally intrigued. And plus, the drummer and the bass player are the two most infamous like guys in the band. Actually, maybe the singer too, because the singer committed vehicular manslaughter in the movie because he was like driving drunk and like killed his passenger and like critically injured the other two people in the car and like had to pay like a $2.5 million fine and like spend 30 days in jail, which I figured would be longer.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, he only had to spend 30 days, and he got out at 19 because he stayed sober.
Wow.
But, like, some of the things I didn't like about the main, like, all of it was super interesting, but the way they told it was poor, and the timeline was really sketchy because it kept moving, like, time kept flying by, and they would just kind of, like, flash the date.
Yeah.
It'd be like December 9th, 1984, and you're just like, okay. And I went and like looked up their albums, and like unless I couldn't keep up with the dates good enough, it like talks about one of their albums being like shit and like a certain like only one or two songs being good, and I'm like, oh, I know those two songs. So like I went through their albums at the end of the movie and like tried to look it up, and like the album that the guy's claiming is shit was like one of their early albums. And like at the time that he was complaining about it, he had already committed vehicular manslaughter, and they were like trying to make a comeback. You know what I mean? Like to me, the timeline didn't match up to where it was like, it sounded like he was complaining about a later album in their career, but the songs that he mentioned were on like their second or third album. So I don't know. I couldn't keep up with it, but overall, because it was so crazy, it definitely like held my attention, but it really wasn't that good a movie just because they didn't tell the story well. I mean, if you have the blah blah stuff, you know, because there's a ton that happened. Like I just told you a bunch of crazy shit, and there's more. Yeah. Like the lead singer's like daughter dies of cancer. Like I don't know, but then they like brush over that. Like, that's super quick. But I don't know if you really want to spend a lot of time on it. But the way they did it just was, ugh. Like I don't know.
Damn.
Oh, and they're like constantly. They had handles of alcohol throughout the whole movie, and they're just constantly drinking straight from the bottle. And I thought that was wild. Like I'd be interested to know if the band really drank like that, because I don't know how they ever got anything done. At the amount that they drink and bang in that movie, I don't know how they got anything done. Yeah. They like and Pete Davidson. That's the other thing I was gonna say about Machine Gun Kelly's acting career is like a handful of the movies that he's done. Pete Davidson is in the movies with him. Like he's in the Hulu movie, he's in The Dirt, and he's in.
Who's Pete Davidson?
Comedian. And they're friends.
All right.
Like whenever Pete Davidson got dumped by Ariana Grande, they were engaged.
Yeah.
She's basically like he's basically what Thank You Next is about for the most part, or he's a big chunk of that.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, like he gets dumped by Ariana, and MGK gets like shit on by Eminem at basically the same time.
Great.
And I guess they became friends either before that or during that, and I don't know. I just thought it was kind of funny, and it's kind of crazy because I like all four of them. I like Ariana Grande, I like Pete Davidson, I like MGK, and I like Eminem. I mean, I love Eminem, but you know.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Whatever, dude. Okay, I'll just stop talking. Anyway, The Dirt. That's enough.
What are you giving it?
Oh, I gave it just decent. It's about as decent as it gets because the story's wild, but they suck. So it just balances out. Honestly. Good candidate for most decent movie.
Might have to watch it then.
Yeah. I'd watch it with you. I'll watch it with you the same way I watch Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Just ignore it.
Yeah.
But it was crazy though. The drugs were pretty wild.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I would have given you my opinion on The Matrix, but I literally got halfway through it and they took it off Netflix before I could finish it.
Nice. Yeah. Boring. I take it.
No, I just never. I wasn't.
Couldn't find the time.
I wasn't super into it yet, and I just couldn't find the time. And when I finally did, it was too late.
Dang, that sucks.
Like right when I started binging stuff is when they had taken it off.
Mm.
Like, because it would have easily been on this list of stuff, but it would have been the first thing on this list.
You know, it's crazy. I haven't seen that movie either.
What, The Matrix?
Yeah. All right, I saw parts of it, but it was so long ago that I don't know anything else.
I mean, I get why it's a classic, but I'm not like, oh my god, you know. Of course, I'm not a huge sci-fi guy. Outside of Star Wars, I don't really like anything too sci-fi or fantasy.
What about all the superhero movies?
I don't. If you count those, then yes. I don't count them. I count them as their own category.
Okay.
To me, there's like sci-fi and then there's superheroes.
Yeah.
And I know Jedi are kind of on that fine line because they kind of are both.
Yeah.
But when I think sci-fi, I'm thinking like your Blade Runner, your Matrix,
I like that movie.
Deja
I
Vu.
like Blade Runner. I will say. I think the sequel's better though.
Good.
I think the sequel's way better. Yeah, way better.
Okay.
Just because it's a modern movie, but like honestly, the sequel and Blade Runner do this thing, which I find it's just a style they went with, I guess. So it's just not for me. But they do a thing where,
I think it's Ridley Scott style.
well, yeah, Ridley Scott did this one, and then David Delvanova, yeah, I think it's I forget how to pronounce his last name, but I think it's Delvanova. Did the second one, and they honestly could be done by the same person because they're so similar. But like they do this thing where every scene where
Dennis Villeneuve.
Villanueva, I think it's, I don't know, dude.
Did you realize this chick was in the movie from Knives Out and Bond?
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah,
What does she play?
She's
the hot clone.
yeah, she's
Ryan
not a clone.
Gosling's.
She's Ryan Gosling's AI thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then she like becomes one with that one person, and they have weird three-way interesting sex or whatever.
Who was that one chick?
The other chick?
Yeah.
No idea. Never seen her before.
No, but like in the movie, she just like
She was just a prostitute.
she was a prostitute. That's
Yeah,
right.
That's really it. But yeah, back to what I was saying. They both do this thing where whenever they're having a conversation, or whenever there's not a conversation or action or anything happening, like someone's just thinking about something, it always takes an extra 10, 15 seconds whenever they're thinking or looking off into the distance or something big just happened and they're reflecting on it. They always show them reflecting on it.
Yeah.
And it sort of makes the movie drag. And both movies drag because of that. The second one feels faster, and it's a 2 hour and 45-minute movie.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's a little too long. But it still feels faster than this movie.
Yeah.
Because it's a modern movie and has modern takes. And both movies are like honestly beautiful. Like the way they look, the designs, everything in them. It's crazy. But yeah, the movie's really. I liked the movie honestly.
Do you know why Ridley Scott didn't do the second one?
Probably just didn't want to. I don't think he's ever done a sequel to a movie, honestly. Oh wait, I know he's talked about doing the Gladiator sequel. So
Didn't he do some of the Alien movies?
No, James Cameron did Aliens, and then someone else.
James Cameron.
Yeah, did Aliens.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's good.
Never seen it.
I mean, have you ever seen Terminator 2?
Bits and pieces. Never really properly seen it.
I mean, both those movies are pretty much the same thing. They're kind of horror movie franchises, and they're taken into an action movie in the sequel that James Cameron does for some random reason, and it's honestly way better than the first one, just in terms of interest.
There's Alien. And
Alien.
then James Cameron did
Aliens.
Who did Alien?
Ridley Scott.
Oh, jeez. That's wild that two massive directors
Just took over a franchise like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess, but Ridley Scott does weird movies, dude. He does he did The Martian, Alien. He did this movie. He did. I want to say he did Gladiator. I wanted to say he did some other Roman type of random movie.
I saw a random movie of his.
Like he just has weird taste. I think he just likes going from one thing to another. Honestly.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm fine with it. I'd rather you do that than get burnt out and just keep making the same movie all the time.
True.
But I'll give it a man.
Alien Covenant.
Oh, he did Alien Covenant. Dude, I'm talking out of my ass and him not doing sequels. I'm surprised he didn't do the.
Because I think I saw Alien Covenant.
Maybe they just didn't want him to. I don't know. I honestly don't know. You saw Alien Covenant?
Yeah.
Wow.
I knew I saw an Alien movie that he had directed, and that's got to be the one.
Oh, definitely. Because if you saw the original one, you would know. Because it's super dated looking.
Okay, then yeah. Yeah, I saw a very recent one. I'm pretty sure I saw it with Mason and Amarillo, and it said the movie was in 2017.
Yeah,
but I guess
Alien Covenant.
I guess I was still in Amarillo in 2017. For a second, I thought I wasn't.
Oh yeah.
No, I was though.
And he did Prometheus too, which is technically like a prequel to Alien.
I didn't realize he did American Gangster.
See, there's another random movie he did. He goes from gangster to sci-fi to gladiator to sci-fi to gangster. Like,
yeah, because right here he did 3 Russell Crowe movies in a row. Got American Gangster with Russell Crowe and Denzel, Body of Lies with Leo DiCaprio and Russell Crowe, and then which is like an action spy movie, and then Robin Hood with Russell Crowe.
random, dude, just random.
And then Prometheus. Anyway, yeah, I figured, honestly, I did enjoy the movie Black Hawk Down. I haven't seen that either.
That's apparently really good.
Oh, it is. I have it. I haven't watched it, though. Anyway, so yeah, that's a war movie. Anyway, I liked the movie better the second time as well. I don't know why, but I guess it's just because I picked up on some of the stuff I missed the first time, and I better understood the stuff I thought I understood the first. I don't know. It did seem better the second time, but it's still just a little too slow for me. But I just give it a decent. But like you said, I mean, the premise and the world that they're in is amazing. I mean, it just looks awesome. Even this movie was made in 1982, and it still looked awesome.
Yeah, still looks really good.
Yeah. So, of course, it is the final cut, which said was made in 2007. But even when they showed the clips of the director's cut made back in the 90s or whatever, or 80s or 90s, like they all look the same. Like
Yeah,
they just
look basic.
different shading, really.
Pretty
or
much.
Whatever.
But the thing about this one's plot is it's pretty much drawn out as to what it is,
Okay.
and then they just go from there. You know what I mean? It's them trying to find life and live more, basically.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like the new one does a really good job of they have to find this. They're trying to find this kid basically that was born or may not have been born or died or something. They don't know what it is. That like a kid born from what's her name? I've said it like a billion. Rachel.
Right.
Rachel had a kid supposedly, and they have to find her.
Oh, okay. So the chick that Harrison Ford runs away with has a kid,
Yeah.
and that's what 2049's about.
2049. Yeah.
That's what a chunk of it's about.
Yeah, 2049, it starts off, they go to Dave Bautista's, and they find out he was raising the little kid, and then, like, he buried the mom there when she eventually died, because she's a replicant, and she lived, I guess, long enough to have the kid, or who knows how long, and then Harrison Ford says, like, yeah, it was a miracle, or whatever, and they go and find her, and then it evolves from that, and they don't know who the kid is. At one point, they think Ryan Gosling is the kid. Everyone thinks they're the kid. Every replicant thinks that, and then they finally find the one that is. I guess the proving ground that you shouldn't kill androids because they can actually create life.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
And in this movie, the guy who makes the Nexus 6 replicants gets killed by Roy, the replicant. And then in the new movie, 2049, there's like a new creator. I mean, is it like the same company?
I don't remember, honestly.
The Tyrell Corporation?
All of that is probably honestly explained in the opening. They have a similar opening crawl thing, and it's probably explained right in that. I want to say it's like a Jason Bourne Blackbriar thing where they go, Nexus 6 was shut down and they formed a new thing called Trinity or something.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
I want to say it's something like that.
I bet it is. I think it is. It's like Tyrell Corporation becomes Trinity, and there's a new mastermind who makes
which
replicants.
is a weird thing in movies that a lot of movies do, where we have this evil corporation. All right, let's destroy it, but let's make another one that's identical to it, but just name it something different.
Right, and you're gonna make them think this one they're okay.
These guys are okay,
but they're not. Well, we need to rewatch 2049.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
Try not to do that without me, but if you do, whatever. Just answer all my questions that we've just discussed.
Okay.
But yeah. Anything else on the content we've been consuming?
I give Blade Runner mad decent.
Give it a
I
mad
already
decent.
said that. But
What'd you give 2049?
I give it Fuego.
God. Fuego and mad decent.
Yeah, I would, honestly.
See, I think this is the movie where we differ the most on so far. This is something that we disagree on.
Oceans is up there too.
Yeah, this is more severe than Oceans.
Because Because I think Ocean's 11's a fuego as well.
Okay. No, you're right. I don't give it a fuego, but yeah, we definitely disagree more on this movie than we do Oceans and probably Suicide Squad.
Yeah, probably. Because I mean, honestly, every time I watch that, or every time I see any part of that movie, just a clip or something, or just scrolling through channels, like when we watched it the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I like it less and less, and I started to see more and more of what you're talking about, why it's so bad. It's just cringeworthy. Like, a lot of the things that are happening are very cringeworthy.
I know.
And I get I don't know, I almost get sweaty watching it. Like, you know what I mean? You know that feeling when you're in a theater with a bunch of people and you're hearing jokes and they're just not landing and it's just silence and you just sort of get a little sweaty? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because that's the feeling I get when I was watching it. Although I was laughing because I was watching you just hate life.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to absorb every detail. I was like, just keep proving to me why I hate this movie. Like, just give me more fuel. And it did, because there's a one-on-one fight happening, and it's like, what is happening? Why is there 6 people in a room, but 2 people are having a one-on-one fight, and the other 4 are just hanging out?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, is that the cheer squad? Like, the one guy's committing suicide, and everybody else is just the cheer squad? Like, I don't understand what's happening. And there were parts that, we didn't watch very much of it, but it did seem like better. You know what I mean? I hated it less, but I still hate it. Okay. And it's still really poorly made.
We'll have to fully watch it one day.
Yeah, we do need to.
But we were consuming so much content.
Consuming a lot. And then we snuck in a little Spider-Man today.
Yeah, we did.
Snuck in the end of
Far
From Home. Thank you. And the other thing I realized, you pointed out that I picked it for Movie of the Year. I don't know if I necessarily changed that, but it did feel a little bit more cringy rewatching it for this third time. Maybe only because I didn't get to watch it from the beginning, but
yeah, that's part of it.
Maybe just kind of jumping into it, it just made it seem Tom Holland and Jon Favreau and Jake Gyllenhaal all had just kind of moments where I was like, yeah, it's kind of lame, but I liked Ned and MJ for some reason. Like I've always liked Ned, but normally I disliked MJ. But I was okay with like Ned, MJ, and all the side characters, and everybody was cool. But for some reason, Tom Holland and like Jon Favreau and Jake Gyllenhaal were all rubbing me the wrong way. They just came off cheesy at certain parts, and like the parts that we watched, basically at the end where he's like talking about the Peter Tingle, and Tom's crying about the glasses and Iron Man, and
I think the ending of the movie has like the best action.
It does. No, the ending was great action.
But I think it has... I think it kind of falls into a trap of... It sort of becomes a generic-y superhero movie where they make sort of less creative jokes and they fight a giant monster and, it's the villain yelling all these bad things or whatever because, it's Mysterio. Where I feel like it's way more interesting when you don't know what Mysterio is doing. You got the stupid teachers making stupid jokes, and Ned and his girl acting like they've been dating for 5 years and then breaking up so maturely, it's ridiculous. And then it's more of like a vacation movie for a while. I think that's like where it's the strongest. I think we just watched like the weakest part, honestly, but it's still good.
Yeah, no, it was good. And so the thing I was going to ask you about is
that's how I know it's good, dude. I've seen that movie. We watched the ending of it, which is. I mean, whatever. And, I didn't want to change the channel. It's a good movie, right?
I didn't start playing my game until it ended.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to see the ending. No, it was good. And now, I don't know if we've talked about this on air, but if we have, it's been a while. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of, especially now that we've watched the ending, CinemaSins talks about his biggest beef with Spider-Man and Marvel is the fact that he's held back by Iron Man in terms of his suit and his villains.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I have nothing to say about that. I don't have as much of a problem with people. People have a problem with him being like Iron Man Jr.
Right.
Basically. Whereas I like him being Tony Stark Jr. You know what I mean? Because Tony Stark is, he's the main hero. Mm-hmm. Everyone looks up to him or whatever. And he's basically Spider-Man's trying to beat that. And I like him having that mentor, like that relationship there. I don't like him wearing super ridiculous technology suits and all of his villains coming from Tony Stark. I think they can't do it again. They cannot do it again.
I really hope they don't.
Even though Even though the Vulture isn't really that connected, but they just need to have no connection.
Yeah, because I agree with him. I mean, the Vulture wasn't as big a deal as as Mysterio was, but both guys were motivated by basically something that Tony Stark or his company did.
Yeah, and honestly, I wish they had made just the Vulture just, I don't even know, not have any backstory for him at all, honestly. Because I feel like if one of them was going to be related or come from Tony Stark, they should just pick Mysterio, because I feel like that's way better. Mm-hmm. And then it doesn't feel so tired again, because we just got that.
Right.
Because I feel like his story makes way more sense as to where, the Vulture is like connected, but it really doesn't need to be.
Yeah, it doesn't have to
And then it just makes Mysterio feel tired. So I feel like it's worse on both fronts.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right.
But they really should not. I hope they don't do it again.
Yeah, and he points out in the video, he's like, yeah, he's supposed to be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but he's got, he's got missiles, he's got all this stuff. It just doesn't feel very, friendly neighborhood. It just feels like he's Iron Man Jr., basically. So,
sure.
Yeah, so I guess we both agree on that. I didn't know if we had talked about it before, but it's just something I hadn't really thought about until he said it, because the movies have been so good. Mm-hmm. They've been better than the Andrew Garfield movies, so I was like, this is amazing, but that, to me, that is the biggest flaw with the Spider-Man Marvel movies, is being plagued by Iron Man.
Yeah. And they had to find a way to connect him, but they did, but they've gone too far with it. He's too connected to Iron Man.
Right. Yeah, I mean, now his aunt's banging Iron Man's bodyguard, apparently.
It's hot.
It's hot. Marissa Tomei, an Oscar winner, Jared.
That was what you wanted to say about Spider-Man?
That's it, yeah.
Did you see the Morbius trailer for any reason, by the way?
What is that?
It's like a vampire movie, a vampire superhero kind of thing with Jared Leto.
Maybe I heard y'all talk about it, because it sounds familiar, but I don't remember seeing it.
He's one of the lesser-known Spider-Man villains, and Sony's making it. So they basically did Venom, now they're doing Morbius. And at the end of the trailer, Jared Leto says hi to Vulture.
Michael Keaton?
Yeah, Michael Keaton.
Says hi to him.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean. Like the big reveal at the end of the trailer is like, "Hey, like I need your help" or something. Like, and he's like, "Oh, dude, let's."
So we're gonna have two villains and no Spider-Man.
Yeah. Or maybe he'll be in it or whatever. But
it's just amazing that like the studios are just more focused on using the characters to make money, but not decent content. Like, they're like, well, we don't have... Spider-Man is being made by Marvel now, so I guess we're going to make Venom. Let's just pump this dump out. And then, like, now they're going to do a Morbius movie. Like, I don't have confidence in it. It doesn't sound like they're going to do a good job. It sounds like they're going to plague themselves with not having Spider-Man and make a bad movie.
Yeah, I agree. But
It's like, can they make a good movie without Spider-Man? Is that possible?
Without him, and just with the characters around him,
with Morbius and Vulture. I mean, can they make a good movie with those two guys and not have Spider-Man in it? Is that possible?
Those are both decent actors, but I doubt it. Sadly, I doubt it.
I mean, because what are they gonna do?
I don't know.
They're gonna fight Oprah,
each other, or what? The cops for 5 seconds?
I don't know. Maybe they'll fight Harley Quinn, like.
Oh God, that would be awful.
And her ragtag gang.
They can fight over a sandwich, dude.
Yeah, they can fight the birds of prey over an egg sandwich. And then Tom Hardy can pop in and be like, Venom,
I'd watch that.
Yeah.
You went from the worst movie ever to maybe the best. So I don't.
Basically, I don't
know how you did that.
An Avenger-style movie of rejects.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Just throw all the rejects in a movie. Let's get Shazam in there.
Tobey Maguire.
I was talking to somebody the other day.
And what did they say?
Do you think we need to take a quick commercial break? Because this episode is brought to you by Propel flavored water. So anyway, they were like talking about Shazam. Was it Jordan? So I can't remember who I was talking to, but I was talking to somebody and they were like, Shazam is a good movie.
Who,
like,
dude? I want their name.
I know.
We're gonna pull up in the middle of the night, dude. We're gonna.
I have to. It's got to be like
bury
it's
them in the
ocean.
Like
Victor or like.
No way.
No, it's
dude.
not. Maybe
no
it's.
way. I'll talk him out of it.
It's got to be somebody, dude. I talked to him and they're like, "Yeah, Shazam was pretty good." I was like, "Nah, it sucked." And And maybe it had to be somebody I didn't know well enough then because
It
they
wasn't
kept
your mom. You saw it with your mom. Your mom didn't
right.
like it.
No, yeah, they didn't like it. No, but they kept saying it was good, and I finally was just like, just smiling and
Was it
nodding.
Jacob's friend?
Maybe it was. It's got to be somebody I don't know that well because I said it sucked for like a second, and they kept trying to say how good it was, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to hurt their feelings. I'm just gonna let them. They're delusional. I'm gonna let them think it's good. Because I was even trying to explain. I was like, nothing happened. I was like, he didn't fight anybody. He fought like shadows, and it sucked. Like I just. And they were like, oh, whatever, and I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, flossing, whatever. Good. But anyway.
I like the part when it ended. The credits roll was real quick.
Yeah, it was good. I do like the fact that they had credits to signal the end of the movie, so I knew
When to leave.
ASAP. Yeah, immediately. Was there anything else that we were going to talk about on this episode? We were talking about. You had that hot take on.
Oh boy.
What
hot take did I have?
There's all that racial stuff you were talking about, like a rally or
Holy
something.
cow. That's not what I said. I was like, what did I say?
Yeah, no.
A rally or something? I didn't have any, but you were just joking though. I didn't
Yeah,
have
that was
any
a
hot
joke.
takes.
Yeah, that was a joke.
I didn't have any hot takes.
No.
No.
But you did mention you want to do an episode of hot takes.
I do.
Here's a hot take. That episode's going to be great.
Whoa.
Or suck.
True. Damn, I feel like I was going to say something else. I don't know. Oh yeah, we also tried to watch Rocket Man.
Oh, yeah.
Made it through about 40 minutes of that movie. And then
Did we
turned
make it
off.
through that far?
Yeah, we made 40 minutes of that movie.
Oh, okay. Then, yeah, we saw it.
I mean,
Social Network.
that's what we saw the ending of that movie.
So we
and
saw-
then you were like, dude, what is going on? And I'm like, dude, obviously you're not going to know what's happening. This is literally the wrap up of the movie.
I know. But I understood it, but I wanted to just fully understand it so I didn't have to watch it.
Dude, it's a great movie, honestly. Watching those 15 minutes, I was like, I want to watch this whole movie right now. It's so good. It's
All right.
so good.
We'll watch it sometime. But
It's like Wolf of Wall Street, but
Facebook.
yeah.
Right.
It literally is, though. Like drugs, partying, like
Yeah.
legal scams, money being changed hands.
For Facebook.
Yeah, dude, because there's so many people that claim they have the rights to it.
Even
And
though was it really all Mark? Do you believe that? Or does the movie portray it as that?
the movie portrays it as he's an ass and he stole it. He didn't steal it. He did the majority of the work for it, but he didn't do all of the work for it, and he basically screwed people out of what they probably deserve for helping create it. There's two guys. There's twins that are both played by Armie Hammer, for some reason, which is just a random. I don't know. I guess maybe they are twins in real life, but it's just really weird. They've claimed to have ownership over it because they helped fund it and they helped get him started when it was just for their college, for their one college.
Right.
And basically he said, yeah, like, okay, cool. And then he screws them out of that money. And then it's him and his friend,
Andrew
Garfield. And they're smooth sailing for a little bit. I'll describe the whole movie.
No,
to you, but
no.
Then they run into, what's his name?
JT.
Yeah, JT. He plays the Napster, the guy who created Napster, basically.
The guy who created Napster helped create Facebook?
According to the movie, I don't know if any of that's true, but yeah. He helps him, like, shepherd it, basically, and they become better friends. And then he ends up screwing freaking Andrew Garfield out of the money, or out of his share, and then he ends up screwing
Justin Timberlake
out of more of it. But basically, like, I think they all end up with some of it, but basically he's like an ass. And it's kind of ambiguous as to whether he was right or wrong to do so, because it makes it seem like he's really, really smart, and he really figured out a lot of the stuff in it, although it was everyone's sort of ideas and input. Because I think JT says that it shouldn't be called the Facebook, it should just be called Facebook. Mm-hmm. And that's a huge deal because that's the whole name.
Right.
And he said that you shouldn't put ads on it, basically, to make money. And I was like, whoa, okay, all right.
But now they do.
Yeah, now they do. But I guess that's sort of a change of the times or something. But basically they had ads on it at one point. Again, according to the movie. So he contributes that, and then I think Andrew Garfield funds more of it. I think he works like jobs and stuff to give them seed money to move out to California and stuff like that or something. But yeah, dude, it's a fascinating movie, honestly, which is surprising because it's literally about the creation of a website.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like
The website.
The website,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like the game changer that, I don't know, started a lot of the stuff that we have now.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a lot of things kind of snowballed once Facebook was created.
Of that, yeah.
But then it's like Facebook. Did Facebook get created because of MySpace? Did they mention MySpace at all in this movie?
I think they do. I think that like something like MySpace or whatever, and they're like, yeah, but way more simple and way more accessible by everyone. I think they talk about it like that. I think it originates from they pull up 2 random pictures of girls from school, and you pick which one you like more, and that's how it started.
Okay.
I think that's where it originates from.
Yep. Well, they started Tinder then.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But yeah,
It's hot.
we watched that movie. We watched a little bit of Rocket Man.
Yeah, so we got the end of Social Network and the beginning of Rocket Man. So we've seen about 30 to 40 minutes of both movies, opposite ends, and I feel like I know both movies and I'm good and don't need to see either one of them.
Honestly, yeah.
But I'll rewatch Social Network because it's good and it's got some crazy stuff in it. But Rocket Man, I don't know if I'll be able to finish it.
Just Rocket Man, the whole deal is, it seems like it's going to be a pretty generic Rockstar story, which again, I'm sure is true, and I'm sure is...
There's some cool stuff.
There's some cool stuff, original stuff in there, but it also just seems like, okay, yeah, you're going to start from nothing, make it big, start getting into drugs and stuff, you're going to fall again, and then you're going to end on somewhat of a happy note, and there's going to be some songs thrown in there. What I don't like about it is every time a song goes, it's a musical.
Mm-hmm. That's what I haven't enjoyed either.
Which I'm sure is great for a lot of people that love musicals, but it's not working for me. I like his songs. I like his songs.
Yeah.
But I want to just hear the songs in the background while things are happening. You know what I mean? Or him just singing them, and it just be him at a concert.
Yeah.
You know, that would be fine with me too.
I'm sure they won't, but what if there's like an Eminem or Stan type cameo in this movie?
No, because I asked Jordan that. That was the first thing I asked him when he saw it.
And he said no.
No, I was like, "Is there anything with Eminem?" And he's like, "No." And I'm like, "Okay."
Not even
because that's too late in his career. Elton John was already off drugs and everything, and
yeah, I know, but I didn't know if maybe maybe was like part of the feel good moments. You know, he's like,
yeah.
And then I got to record with Eminem, and
oh, dude, that was so awesome to watch that happen.
Yeah. And then like this and that, and I relapsed a little bit with Eminem. We drank, and then
honestly, what probably played a factor in that, not doing that, was that no one was probably gonna play Eminem because that'd be kind of I don't know. You put yourself in a sticky situation if you're gonna play Eminem, and if you're gonna get Eminem just to be out there for 5 seconds and it's not in any of the trailers, you're gonna spend millions of dollars because he's not gonna get into a movie for less than millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And he'd have to film it in Detroit, so you'd never let that happen. So
yeah, well, yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. It makes you wonder, like, if we watched movies here, like at my house or whatever, and they, because we're in the quarantine right now. If we get, and they're talking about bringing all these new movies out. If we get new movies like this, how many of them are we just going to turn off? You know what I mean? Because if we had went and saw that movie in theaters, I guarantee you we wouldn't have left because
we're already there.
We're already there. We already paid money. Like, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But here, it's like, no, dude, we got 2K over there. We got 15,000 channels. We got like all of everything on YouTube. We got like old clips of things on ESPN. Like
Netflix, Hulu.
Why would we waste time on this movie that we're not that into? It makes you wonder how many movies we saw last year that we wouldn't have made it through.
Yeah, I don't know.
I probably would have turned off Angel Has Fallen. I'm just going to throw that one
out
there.
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, I would have been down to finish Rocket Man, but like it wasn't necessary. I was able to move on. But that's the other thing is how many more things would we watch and get through
if we could watch it like this?
If with all this convenience, if everything was just boop, there you go.
I'm hoping when things get normal again, we find like some time where we're both in the general area somewhere and we just go by, see a movie, and then go see another one like after. We want to see both, and we just don't pay for the second ticket.
Right.
Because
that's the move.
There's several days where I'm down to do that, but it's never timing, and there's never two movies at the same time.
Right. Yeah, and I want to see The Way Back, Ben Affleck still.
Streaming next week.
Are you like streaming on what?
Sorry.
Video on demand.
VOD next week. Sorry. Yeah.
Which means
nothing.
Nothing for us. Yeah,
we'll find some other crap to watch. We got that Mark Wahlberg movie.
Spencer Confidential. That looks generic.
It does. You got anything else for us?
I mean, oh yeah, always, but we'll probably have to save it for another episode. I have a story that I don't know if I've ever told you. That's pretty wild, but I definitely want to keep it on air.
We'll save it for the next episode. I think we got enough content on this episode.
Create, consume.
Exactly. All right, man.
I feel disappointed that I have to like just delete this list. You know, like
all that hard work.
I ranked all these movies. You know, I told you I went back and watched Zombieland 1, right?
No, actually.
Decent.
All right.
Like simple and entertaining. It was pretty good. Another Jesse Eisenberg movie. I've been seeing a ton of Jesse Eisenberg lately, and a ton of that A24 Studios. I think they're the people who made Uncut Gems.
Oh, okay.
Like a handful of movies I've watched have been by them, which I've found interesting. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's whatever.
Interesting. I've never seen that before. Uncut Gems. I want to say.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. Now I'm seeing it all the time. Like that Mississippi Grind movie with Ryan Reynolds. Pretty sure it was A24. So, yeah. All right. Anyway, yep. This whole episode is about content consumption we create so you can consume. For Reagan, I'm Ryan. You have a great night.
Look, from beginning to end, in that order.
I've always wanted to do that.
You want to play golf?
You mean golf?
Golf! Frisbee golf, Jerry! Golf with a frisbee! This is going to be my time. Time to taste the fruits and let the juices drip down my chin.